So I understand that you married, and did you meet your wife in school, or where did you meet her?
So I met my wife at a party.
Okay.
I met my wife at a party. I was actually dating her friend. So like I was dating her friend.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking, and I went to this party, and I was checking her out, and she was checking me out, but we never said nothing to each other.
Yeah.
And then it was in the MySpace days.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I had to hit her on MySpace, and we started talking, and really honestly, like we hit it off the first time we talked. Man, we were on the phone for like 5 hours.
That's back when you had to be attached to the wall, right?
Yeah, don't age.
Because all of y'all watching this, y'all looking at your cell phone.
Yeah, that was the cordless phone.
Exactly. But when the computer had the big back, like the TV. Yeah, for sure, bro.
And when you talking on the phone to somebody, you can hear somebody pick up the phone upstairs.
Hey, I'm on the phone. Hang up the
phone, and you don't hear him hang up.
Boy, you better do them dishes.
Right.
Why are you on the phone? You embarrassing me.
Right. You got to hear them.
Exactly. No, you ain't slick. Hang up the phone. Right. I got you. Exactly. Yeah, that's what's up, man. So we talked about like you meeting your wife and everything like that. So still in your youth, what did you want to be when you wanted to grow up, man? What did you actually want to be?
Two things.
Okay.
I wanted to be two things. Ever since I was probably 3 years old. Well, I guess maybe three things. One of them, my grandparents always told me I was going to be a preacher ever since I was 3.
Okay.
Because I would always in the kitchen make them all stand up.
Yeah.
And sing a worship song with me, and I would literally like orchestrate them singing. So that was one thing. Okay. I didn't know it was in me, obviously, as a little boy. No doubt. As I began to grow up, I was always two things. I was always a police officer, and I was always Superman. So I would literally play cops and robbers. That
sounds like self-manifestation.
Yeah, right. Right. So I would always play cops and robbers with my brothers.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember Chips.
I do.
Back in the day,
TV show.
Punch and John. Yeah. That was my favorite show. I watched that.
That's what's up.
All the time. And we would be on our bikes, and I would ride around and jump off my bike and tackle them and stuff like that. And
that's funny.
This is actually kind of funny, but I used to always put my underwear over my pants.
So you were Doug Funny.
Right.
Yeah, shout out to Nickelodeon.
Exactly.
I honestly, I used to want to be Doug Funny too. I was looking for my patty mayonnaise, but let's say that for another
that
show.
Was me, man.
No doubt.
And I would put a towel. My grandma would safety pin the towel to my back.
Okay.
And I would just go around the house like I was Superman. I love Superman.
That's what's up.
I always wanted to just rescue somebody. I always had it in me to help people who were in need. So that's literally who I was as a child, and being a cop was a dream of mine since I was, 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah, no doubt. So how did your early life experiences shape your aspirations and career choices? I mean, obviously you was talking about playing cops and robbers and stuff like that, but did you have any like other experiences like, the way I was treated like this, or me seeing something like that, they definitely made me want to be a superhero or somebody that can kind of stand in the gap between good and evil?
Man, I've always had a heart since I was little for people who had need, people who had a weakness, people who had an issue. I always somehow became the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Even in 6th grade, I remember talking to my friends on the phone, and I always found myself counseling people and helping them out of a situation called stuck.
Yeah.
People feel stuck and they need encouraged and stuff like that. But as far as like being a police officer, man, it was just always my heart, man. It was always in me ever since I was little. And when I realized that I got older and it started getting more real,
mm-hmm.
and I started realizing, this is actually a possibility. I can actually do this.
Yeah.
All I have to do is put in an application. I would go to the fair and I would see the recruiters out there, with their table, and I would go to this event, see the recruiters out, and then I would see a commercial, or I was like, man, it just became more real to me. And the more real it became, the more I stepped into it.
Wow. See, what's funny, like, obviously, that I ended up kind of similar path trajectory anyways, becoming law enforcement too. And for me, it was different. Like growing up, like we were taught that police were the enemy. Like my father, may he rest in peace, no disrespect to his legacy, but he got in trouble a lot. And he was, in our family, they were always involved with the law, and it was all about like, don't say too much, and and we don't talk to the police and stuff like that. But as I grew up, I didn't get any major trouble. Yeah. And then my brother, this is how we kind of met. We met at the church, Potter's House in Columbus, Ohio. Shout out to the Potter's House. My brother, baby brother, Stephen, was actually being deployed to Afghanistan in 2011. And y'all had a church service because it was the whole National Guard unit that was in that area. And several people from the church were getting deployed. And my brother was one of them. And my brother was like, hey, man, come to the church. They're going to have a service for us. And that's how we ended up meeting and how we ended up becoming members of the church and everything. So, when he came back from Afghanistan, he became a deputy with Franklin County back home. And when he was a deputy, he started telling me like, yo, man, cops are regular dudes, man. They have barbecues, man. They talk about games and because so you don't really think of the human side of police or anyone in law enforcement or as a first responder, firefighters too. We can roll them up. Like you think it's a special type of personality that they're looking for. But really, they just looking for regular dudes, and these are just regular people. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I think that's cool, man. And then also on my journey in law enforcement, you were one of the people who were able to mentor me through different steps and stuff that I was experiencing. So yeah, that's cool. That's just another side. But we'll talk about that later. So.